Mister.
Santiago, tengo el mismo iPad que tú.
Teacher, I don't see el micrófono.
Hello. Okay, students. Wait, give me a second. Okay. Everybody listen to me. Now, very good. Okay, now students, I will repeat the information really quick. The plan for today is going to be the reading class. It's going to be the story. We're going to read Los Topos, which is model number 1. Model number 5, week number 1. Okay, we're going to read half of the story and we're going to listen to half of the audio. After that, we're going to have a summary. We're going to do a summary of the story. Our materials are going to be our notebook, the Pearson book, and our pen and pencils. Remember to also have a highlighter with you, okay? Very, very easy. Now, students, I'm going to quickly go over the list. Everybody. I'm going to go over the list. So remember to stay in silence and say present when you listen to your name, okay? Eduardo.
Present.
Pablo. Santiago.
Present.
Ivana.
Present.
Juliet.
Present.
Amsi.
Present.
Elena.
Present.
Elena.
Present.
Very good. Leah.
Present.
Bruno.
Present.
María Ángel.
Present.
Elisa.
Innombrable.
Elisa. Alondra.
Present.
Jimena. Jimena. Jimena is here. Marco.
Present.
Tía Nicole. Hello. Pablo André. And Lyra.
Present.
Very good, students. Very, very good. Okay.
He's reading class.
Class, I'm going to put the story. I'm going to project the story, and I'm also going to project the audio so everybody can listen to the story. Remember, we're going to listen to the half of the story, and then we are going to read half of the story, okay? At the end, we are going to do a little summary. So everybody pay attention to what I'm going to put now. Okay, first of all, I'm going to put the story. I'm going to put here the story, and I'm going to put also the audio. Okay, this is the audio. Everybody ready? So listen to the audio, okay?
Dear Heroes by Gareth Vaughan. Genre. An expository text gives information about real people and events. As you read, think about the skills needed to become a topo. Question of the week. How can we prepare for emergencies?
Earthquake in Mexico. On the morning of September 19th, 1985, an 8.1 magnitude earthquake hit Mexico City. The result was devastating. An estimated 10,000 people were killed, and over 30,000 buildings were flattened, including hospitals and schools. In the aftermath, after the first initial shock, in fact, there was an almost immediate reaction from some of the city's 18 million people. Ordinary citizens showed loyalty and dedication to their fellow inhabitants by organizing teams to help those trapped in the wreckage. With little thought for their own personal safety, they went into crushed buildings to free their neighbors. And those that didn't provided food, shelter, clothing, and support to those who were left homeless. In this time of tragedy, the city came together. All in all, more than 4,000 people were rescued alive from the wreckage. There were even people rescued as much as 10 days after the initial shock. So, who were these groups of people who risked their lives to rescue those in danger? Helping Hands. Well, one of the most well-known groups were a group of youths who assembled spontaneously in the Tlatelolco area of the city an area which suffered severe damage. They formed as a response to help the overwhelmed emergency services who were unable to cope with the widespread devastation in the area. Amazingly, these people had no training. They didn't even have any equipment. Whereas smoke jumpers, for example, are professionals and have axes and machetes to clear the underbrush when a forest fire rages, these people use their bare hands to clear the debris, risking life and limb in the process. The press named them Los Topos, or moles in English, because they were unafraid to go deep into collapsed buildings to rescue, much in the same way a mole digs deep into the earth. The year after the Mexico City earthquake, there was an earthquake in El Salvador. So, some of them went south to help out, and they haven't stopped since. Los Topos. The group became official in 1986. Their full name is the Brigada Internacional de Rescate Tlatelolco, AC, mainly because Mexico had no rescue group for such situations, despite being an area where earthquakes are a constant occurrence. Since then, each member of the group gets specific training, particularly in first aid, climbing, and maneuvering in collapsed buildings, the use of rescue dogs, and firefighting. As they are volunteers, they are not paid and come from a variety of backgrounds. They include lawyers, doctors, psychologists, vets, engineers, and architects. Since their foundation, Los Topos have helped out in over 22 countries. The volunteers have the names of the countries where they've been written onto their jumpsuits. And now there are about 40 permanent members. The main group is in Mexico City, but there are also groups in other cities in Mexico, and there's even one in Buenos Aires, Argentina. After the El Salvador quake, the team has worked in countries as varied as Japan, Iran, Italy, and Indonesia. Their work in Indonesia is undeniably their most difficult task to date, but proof, if any were needed, that Los Topos will do whatever they can to help those who need it most. Indonesia. Los Topos helped out during the Indonesian tsunami in 2004, although they did have some trouble getting there initially. Los Topos pay all their own expenses, which often means they have to arrive by any means possible. When the destructive tsunami struck Indonesia, Los Topos leapt into action. They managed to get cheap tickets from a Japanese airline. These tickets, however, only got them as far as Singapore. Once they got to Singapore, they couldn't afford the ferry across to Indonesia. But luckily, a minister heard them discussing their situation and gave them $400 to cross. Once in Indonesia, they ate whatever there was, if there was anything at all, slept wherever they could, and used any method available to get to the disaster sites, which usually meant hitching rides in trucks. Most of the work they had to do was to remove bodies and clean the debris left behind by the tsunami. But it's just one of the many examples which demonstrates the lengths they will go to get to any disaster zone and help those affected. Safety gear. Just as you don't go to the beach without your swimsuit, Los Topos don't respond to an earthquake without the right clothing or equipment. They wear lightweight red or orange jumpsuits because they can be easily seen this way. They are also supplied with a helmet and safety goggles. The helmet protects them from falling debris. There are always smaller earthquakes after the initial large one, and the safety goggles provide protection from smoke and dust whipped up by the wind. Flashlights attached to the helmets, called headlamps, also mean they can see in the dark. The tools they take along are usually light. Heavy equipment would make it too difficult to crawl into the small spaces, but nonetheless essential. Everything they take is vital for getting the bodies out from the debris, such as ropes, pickaxes, hammers, shovels, electric saws, and stretchers. In addition to this, they also have medical equipment to tend to the injured and search and rescue dogs. These are specially trained to detect people in the rubble, as well as those who have sadly passed away. Los Topos have also developed a survival device that can send out a person's geo-coordinates act as a flashlight, and play a message of encouragement to those buried under rubble. It's called the topos good luck charm. The strategy. In 2017, Los Topos were called into action once more in.
Okay, students, so in this part, we're going to continue reading. Sorry, I'm going to open your microphones for the people that I'm going to be calling to read, okay? I'm going to start reading the strategy, and then I'm going to be calling people to read, okay? It says, the strategy. In 2017, Los Topos were called into action once more in Mexico City. A 7.1 magnitude earthquake hit the capital and destroyed numerous buildings in the center, as well as killing over 230 people. Although the number of deaths was a tragedy, Los Topos were again able to rescue a number of people. But how do they actually go about doing this? Okay, first of all, the team has to work out a strategy. This initially means that they focus on hospitals and schools where the people, the sick and young children are more vulnerable. Children in Mexico City are taught for an early age what to do during an earthquake. There are also frequent drills, so children will be more likely to know what to do to survive and what measures to take to protect themselves if they should become trapped. Okay, students, so in this point, they're talking about the drills, the simulacros. In the college, in the Colegio Bilingüe Nueva Galicia, we do simulacros, we do drills. This is to prevent or how to act even if there's an earthquake. We already know that we have to protect ourselves if there's an earthquake. If something should happen, Nueva Galicia School is already prepared to act during an earthquake. We already know what we have to do. We already know how to follow the simulacro. So we are prepared to face any type of emergency situation, okay? So let's continue reading. Let's see what happens. Okay, the search. Bruno, you're going to start reading. Then it's going to be Jimena. Then it's going to be Elena, okay? Bruno, read the first paragraph. Let me open your microphone. There it is. Okay, Bruno, you can open your microphone.
Once they are on site, Los Topos carry out a search using both new and old techniques. The first thing they do is talk to the people who live locally. Those who have already managed to survive the initial quake and are safe. These are people who can tell Los Topos who is missing and who is safe.
Okay, thank you, Bruno. Thank you very much. Now, Jimena, I'm going to open your microphone. Jimena, start reading.
However, sight is not the most relevant sense to search for this meaning. It sounds Los Topos. Signal to line is very well known in Mexico. It requires to put your arm in the air and ball your fist. It means by be quietly can hurt somebody and it takes out the way back to the earth in 1985.
Very good. Thank you, Jimena. Thank you. Okay, everybody, we know that our fist. I'm going to share you my screen. Okay, when we go in the college and we raise our hand like this with the hand top, that means to be silenced, right? Everybody, when you see somebody that is with a hand up and the fist like this, it means to be silenced. That's the international sign to be silenced. Guardar silencio. Every time somebody raises their hand like this to the top, it means to be quiet. And that was created by Los Topos. Los Topos created that sign. Everybody, when somebody is like this, that means to be silent, okay? So let's continue reading. I'm going to call now Miss Elena. Elena, you're going to start reading. Give me a second. I'm going to open here. Okay, Elena, they also have a trapped person locator. Okay, Elena, I'm going to open your microphone so you can start reading. There, Elena. Open your microphone. There. They also have a trapped.
Person locator which can sense tiny sounds and vibrations. Another thing they do is bang out a ring on the ground. If somebody who is worried hears the sound, they will
Instantly
bang back to try and attract attention. Essentially, the victims can steer the rescuers in the right direction.
very good, Elena. I'm going to close the microphone. And now I'm going to call Mr. Santiago Castillo to continue reading Search and Rescue Dogs. Okay. Start reading, Mr. Santiago.
One moment. Now, drones are useful in some natural disasters like a hurricane or flood because they can cover a wide area. They aren't, however, suitable for checking the collapsed buildings. Thermal imaging is unable to pick someone buried under tons of concrete and brick. This is where smells come in.
Very good, Santiago. Thank you. Amsi, you're going to start reading Like Sounds. Your microphone is open, Amsi. You can talk now. There, Like Sounds. Start reading, Amsi.
Smell is another useful in the culture. Okay, this is where
Topos.
los topos use their search and use sharp dogs. Sharp dogs can detect humans set from almost half a kilometer away, and they can cover 1.3 square kilometers per day on an average basis, much more than a human can.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay, now I'm going to call Miss Julie. Julie, you can start reading the once a person have been detected. I will open your microphone, Julie.
Once a person has detected the lengthy and laborious process of getting someone out begins. Los topos have to find the safest way of wearing that person out, and this can take a long time because it's often done big by big. Once that person is out, they are then treated by medics and taken to hospital. But Los Topos just isn't done. They move on and start looking for next person to rescue.
Very good, Julie. Very good. So students, in this point, Los Topos also use the dogs. Do you remember there was a dog? I think her name was Lola. I don't remember if the exact name was Lola, but right now I'm going to look it in the Google. But Los topos also use the dogs to rescue people. There are a lot of dogs, like the one that you see in the image here, that are trained to rescue people. The dogs can help a lot of the topos because they are very sensitive with their smell. They can smell people kilometers away. So that's very interesting because they also train the dogs to help los topos to look for those people that are missing. Okay, Nona, I'm going to call you for you to read the psychological factor. Okay, Nona, I will open your microphone.
The psychological factor. Being a topo is obviously physically demanding work, but the hardest part of the job is certainly the physiological to the job takes on a rescue. The cries from those buried under rig and concrete and can be haunting. This physiological shock hits one they have pulled out of the victims from the rubble. It especially taxing from them. The longer the shear goes on, the likelihood of finding survivors shrinks with each passing day. But the topos do have counselors on hand to help them through this. And despite the mental emotional strain, they are still fearless in their search for survivors. They know their team has their back and they know they have a job to do. Families need to know what is happened to their loved ones, and los topos are there to help them find out.
Very good, Alondra. So, in this part, students, los topos have to be very brave, and they have to control their mind because it's very sad to see the people that is under the bricks or under the buildings. So the topos have to be very smart with their feelings, with their thoughts, okay? So, going on to the next page, sense of community. Okay, Silvana, read sense of community.
So, why will someone want to be a topo? You aren't paid, and you're putting your life on the line. As we have seen, the work is extremely stressful, can be psychologically
Psychologically,
damaging, and is not a 9 to 5 job. You have to be ready whenever the call comes. It might sound like los topos have a dead wish, but in fact, they have a great sense of community and want to help out, much in the same way as a firefighter.
very good, Silvana. Now, Lia Lagarda, you're going to read the next part.
The most common and novel reason why many people aptly to become a topo is their sense of servitude and responsibility to their community. Just like police officers who see themselves as keepers of the peace, or doctors whose duty it is to save lives. Los topos consider themselves as the only thing standing between the rule and their fellow citizens.
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 Very good, Leah. Very good. Thank you so much. Now, students, remember that the topos are not getting paid. They do not get paid. They are risking their life, but what they're volunteers. That means that they're volunteers. They're doing the job because they want to do it. Nobody is forcing them or nobody is going to pay them. They're doing this job because they like it. They're doing this job because it's something they want to do. It's something they decided to do. It's not a job that is going to be paid, or it's not a job that is going to be like, they're not going to receive any type of money. They're just going to do the job because they want and because they're going to help the community. So let's see. I'm going to read the last paragraph, but I'm going to call Mr. Luis Pablo. I want for you to read this. Furthermore. Luis Pablo.
Wait.
Okay.
Furthermore, it is become for people how live in areas where natural. What says?
Let me.
Hay una flecha ahí. Natural disasters occur to always be alert. They may be inspired to do what they do because of a personal exercises.
Experience.
What's it?
Perhaps.
They lost a family member or friend in an earthquake. Or perhaps they were once rescued by the topo or saw them on duty, risking their lives to save another.
It's beautiful. Very good, Luis Pablo, very good. So the topos are people that they're going to risk their lives. They have to do this because they want to, because it's something that they want to do. So it says, the last paragraph, one final reason is the adrenaline rush. To parachute from a plane or bungee jump of a high bridge certainly gets the pulses going, but it is most be 10 times more exciting to save a person's life, and no other occupation can scratch that itch as much as being a topo. Adrenaline junkies are perfect for this job since it requires unbelievable amounts of courage, but what attracts them more than anything is the rush. It's the idea that they can be contributing members of society. Very good, students. Okay, so the story is about the topos. The topos are the people that work to rescue the people. They go under the buildings to rescue the surviving people, and they are having like the ability to be firefighters, to be doctors, to be rescuers, to be policemen. They are all this together because they are rescuers. They have been participating all around the world to save other people, okay? So, Bruno, what's your question?
No, nothing.
Okay. Jimena, what's your question? Jimena, question, Jimena. I will open your microphone. What's your question, Jimena? No question. Okay. Lyra, what's your question? Leah. What's your question? Miss Leah.
If they still doing that.
Yes, they are still topos. There's topos all around the world, all around Mexico. And yes, they're still working as a topo. Amsi, what's the question, Amsi?
Why what the name is like a topo. Bueno, it's topo.
Why?
You're hearing me?
Yes, I hear you. Why did they call themselves topos?
Uh-huh.
Because a topo is a little animal that goes under the earth. It digs a hole in the earth to go under, and that's what they do. They go under the buildings to get all the people that stay under the buildings. They're rescuers. Elisa, what's the question? Open your microphone, Elisa.
So the, how can I say soldados?
Soldiers.
Soldiers, they pay?
Yes, the soldiers get paid, but the topos do not get paid. Okay? Very good. Bruno, last question before we continue.
Mister,
Yes.
at the end of this class, you can say me, you can respond my questioning that I make you in alphabet.
In algebraic, you put the question.
Yes.
Okay, right now I'll check it.
Make a message.
Okay, right now I'll check it. It's because I have not checked algebraics.
Okay.
Right now I'll check the messages, okay? Very good. So now, students, to continue with the class, I'm going to do this very fast. Right now, the next class, we're going to continue. But remember, the story is called Los Topos. Okay? Who are the main characters? The Topos. Now, where is the story setting? Is in Mexico City and Indonesia. Now, students, something very important. What is the plot of the story? It talks about what the topos do to rescue the people in an earthquake. Now, what is the problem? Well, that there's a lot of people dying. Well, people die, and we need more topos to help others. Now, what is the climax? The climax would be that, well, topos work to save others people's life. That's what a climax could be. And finally, what's the ending? That los topos are very brave people that work to help in a danger situation. Okay? Copy this in your notebook. If not, if you don't have time because the class is almost over, don't worry. You can go ahead and do it for homework, or it's going to be in algebraics. Okay? Don't worry. The class is going to be in algebraics. So students, see you right now in a couple of minutes. Right now, I'm going to answer the other questions. Bye-bye. See you right now. Bye-bye.